everyone, Kat, and of course Lil Man here for a very late November wrap up. Let's see if we can get you in there good. And it is a surprisingly bright day, so I'm kinda, ooh, yep, I might blind y'all a little bit. So I would hold up the stack, but it's a lot of books, and there's a big coffee table book in it that I read for Nonfiction November. Yes. And so I had a stack next to me, and they keep falling over. Meow, meow, meow. You getting me? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh. Yes, I love you too. Yes, that's my little lover boy. Huh? Are you mama's little lover boy? Okay, we'll keep scratching the chest. So, well, these are not in order anymore, as well, they spilled everywhere. So, and I've got my notebook for all of the ebooks that go along with this. And it's a good thing I have a cute under thing, because, yep, this is. I used to be much skinnier. It used to actually close. But I think I might burst it if I try to do that. It only works when I'm sitting down, or, well, when I'm standing up. I might pop some buttons. But that's okay, we buy cute undershirts. Get a little fierce with it. So let's see, what are we going to start with? The only book that didn't fall, Alex Berenson's The Silent Man. And as y'all can kind of tell, we got a lot of Russia in this one. And wow, I should do these much closer, because now I'm trying to remember what all I read, because I read 12 books, 6 off the TBR, 1 that is just my yearly read for the holiday season, and then the rest were ebooks. And this was the first one that I finished in November. And this one, it wasn't bad, because otherwise I'd remember and be ranting. But obviously it wasn't, oh my god, blew me away either, because I don't remember much. So let's see what this one is about, and maybe it'll bring something back. For CIA operative John Wells, the underworld has become more real than the real world. He spent years in the close company of evil men, and he's paid the price in every possible way. Now he's on the ragged edge of burnout. His nights are plagued by twisted dreams. He's beginning to doubt if he can ever live a normal life. He's right to think so, because a powerful adversary from Wells' past has found him at last. Wells must once again enter the fray, for his country, for his soul, for revenge. And I'm here for some revenge. And I remember what this was. There was some, arms dealing, and they tracked him and his, I think it was his fiance, or like newly wife, whatever. Him and the chick he was hooking up with that were both in the CIA and had made some enemies, and one of them found them, and his henchman paid the price, but so did she. She ended up in the hospital. So he went on this tear, of course. Oh, I'm gonna get revenge, even though she was like, dude, leave it the freak alone. This wouldn't have happened if you hadn't gone off the rails and pissed this guy off to begin with. I mean, admittedly, he's not the mercenary, but he's like the proud arms dealer to the mercenaries to pay for his sleazy lifestyle. So, the world's better without him. But, yeah, it's like, he would have left you alone, but then you went and humiliated him. You didn't kill him, you just humiliated him. And so, big little man had to get some revenge, and the wrong people got in the middle. And you get this. And then, it's me. I needed fairy tales. Crimson Bound. This is a very loose Red Riding Hood retelling that is very dark. And somebody need Tucky, okay. Oh, we gotta tuck in the little man, keep him nice and toasty. Yes, get that little booty. So, yep, we have, our little Red Riding Hood who's going walking in the woods and meets the big bad, demon instead of wolf. It's like, oh, yep, this thing, like, I was trained to learn how to fight these guys because they're trying to destroy the world and bring back all the darkness, and it didn't work. She, thought it's like, oh yeah, I can outsmart him, I'm tough. And of course, it backfired, and so we spend the whole book going, how do I live with the consequences of this? Because people died because of it, and I've been trying to, like, atone for it, and bad things are still happening. They're trying to, like, come back into the world and take over and kill all the humans that they don't want to use for other, yeah, evil things. So, we got friendship, we got betrayal, we got family, we got redemption. If you want a really dark retelling, yes. She also did Cruel Beauty, and I need more of these. Can you do like the whole all the classics? Cause I'm here for it. Y'all know I love me some fairy tales, and if they're dark, oh yeah. Like this is like YA new adult ish. Cause there's definitely like not explicit, but there's we're having a little bit of spice, kind of hinted at fade to black kind of thing. But mm, this one, this one was good. And this was supposedly a fairy tale. No, it's not. Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. It was sold as like a really gothic, dark, fairy tale. And I'm kind of ticked. I didn't realize that it's a trilogy. This is only the first one. And I liked it enough that I want the second one to see if that's good too. But not enough to go buy it brand new. And once again, apparently Russia was a theme. They don't call it Russia because, it's complete fantasy, but is Russia. It's basically if Russia and other Russia got into a fight with each other over, whose god is better at giving magic and whose god is wrong for letting their people have magic, you would get this. Because we got the whole one of, we have like 12 gods and they're awesome, and they loan their power to us so that we can defend ourselves unless they get mad at us and then we just get to die. But we were all like all the people that the gods liked enough to loan power to were killed by the other knockoff Russia that said screw the gods, we found a way to have magic powers without having to deal with their temper tantrums. So we've been fighting each other for a century to go, you need to worship our gods and you need to worship them the way that we do. Oh wait, you don't like this either? Like everybody's dying for like for this so that, hey, worship them properly, even though they're clearly not helping. They're letting both of our countries die because we've been fighting for a freaking century and there's no food or anything left hardly. And they're finally like, all right, we're gonna win. Or screw the gods is, you know, gotten to their monastery in the middle of their country and taken over like their last, hope of this girl. All the gods like her. And she's going, wait, I found some rebels from the other folks, and I don't really know what I'm supposed to do, but they're not happy about this either, even though they're from like the bad country. And there's just, there's betrayal on so many levels. It's like, I'm gonna make friends with my enemy, I'm gonna be enemies with my enemy. My friends, are they really my friends? It's not a fairy tale at all, but it's good. It kind of made me angry at parts. It was a little too realistic at times, but overall, it was good. Unlike this one. If y'all been following along on my little like TBR challenge with myself in the shorts feed, y'all know my thoughts on this one. I was excited. It seemed like it was a good archaeological action-packed thriller. I ended up skimming most of this. Like it started out with a lot of potential of like, hey, there's some dig going on in Egypt, which I'm really fascinated about. And oops, this isn't going to go well because it's being funded by this religious group, and what we found on this dig does not align with what they wanted us to find. And then it becomes, oh, now there's murders all over the world, and they're all falling back to this one guy who runs this charity that isn't really a charity, because, yeah, charity doesn't pay the head guy tens of millions of dollars because, they're actually doing good with it instead of just paying their hedge fund guy. So, okay, it is a charity, but, it's run the way that most of them are that shouldn't be because they're just writing off. But that's a whole other thing, and we ain't gonna get into it because this is for books and happy or rants about books. Not. Mm-hmm. We're escaping the real world. But basically, what he found was like, oops, this is a potential power source or a weapon or something for a different religion. And so we have to kill everybody to hide it. And that sounds really good, doesn't it? But there's a lot of romance just for the sake of romance so that they have somebody like, there is literally no point in this, but we have random, just chapter long attempts at a date just so that there's somebody to kidnap for leverage. Like, I don't think they even actually ever completed a date. They're just, oh, fade to black. All right, she's gone. You're gonna have to get her back, but we're using her so that we can kill you because you know this. And it had such potential, but the execution bored the crap out of me. That's gonna be in the unhaul for next year. And then we had this one, When Elves Attack by Tim Dorsey. Part of his, basically Florida Man. We got Sergei Storms, or I've been told that it's supposed to be pronounced Surge. It's just, Surge Storms. But it just doesn't look like how we normally spell it. But my favorite part of this was the granny team. There's like these 4 little old ladies in a nursing home that keep breaking out. And the media has dubbed them the E-Team. They call themselves G-Unit. Some of y'all will get that. Because, they're a bunch of grannies. And like, oh, yep. We're escaping. We're hacking stuff. We got STDs from that couch because bunch of frisky old grannies. Yep. And, of course, we gotta get some security guard that is a security guard because he can't be a real cop because he's got too much anger and, backstabbing, wants to be powerful issues than the regulars. And we got our, fussy, let me speak to your manager character who is called the Eye of the murderous security guard. And unfortunately, Karen is friends with our main guy, or well, she's married to the friend of the main guy. So, yep, he's got to go and get some revenge on some folks in some very creative ways. Part of which includes being dressed up like an elf and beating the crap out of the dude. So he's like, I was attacked by elves. Yeah. But the beginning and the end have the grannies in it. And it's a very short book. Like, it was only about like 100 something pages, 130-ish. It made me giggle. My yearly read, Christopher Moore's The Stupidest Angel, a heartwarming tale of Christmas terror. Because, yes, there are zombies with some light cannibalism, some murder that might or might not be on purpose. Like, I love the start of this is, there's a warning, do not give this to grandma or your little kids. And if you have a problem with language, folks in their 40s getting it on, and some, light cannibalism, don't read this, because, if this was like a classic tale, in a few pages, our bad guy would, get visited by some folks and get a conscience and change his ways. But this ain't that story. In this story, the bad guy doesn't learn his lesson, so he gets whacked. And it goes from there. And yeah, shouldn't have tried to take out, the Santa babe, and then maybe our evil developer would have gotten to live. But he was evil, so he had to die. And then, yeah, we got our resident crazy lady. We got some, damsel in distress romance. There's people in their 40s getting it on, but not too explicit, because It's Christopher Moore. This is about comedy. And, terrifying guys in bars. From the clientele to the bartender who just wants to drug everybody and be just, She might be old, she might not be very human anymore, but she's got some stuff going on. So, yep, there is special fruitcake, there is murder, there's zombies, there's a stupid angel, and this almost ended up either a Lifetime or a Hallmark movie because they saw the first part of the title and went, "Oh, that's so cute! Our audience will love it." And then they read it and went, "Oh no, that is not for our audience." So, yes, I read this every year. I have been reading this for like 16, 17 years now. It still makes me giggle. If you got a messed up sense of humor, go for it. And then my nod to nonfiction November. This big boy, Demolition. About the family that discovered how to implode things. And most of this book is pictures. And there's not as much on implosion as you would think. It's like, oh, hey, everyone thinks demolition. They think, blow it up. Which, yay. But this was also like, oh, here's the stuff that we have to do before we blow it up and after we blow it up. And then sometimes we take out buildings without blowing them up, and that's just sad. And then it's just, here's all the buildings that we blew up. Like, I'm just gonna flip to a random page, and yeah, woohoo! Going, this was this building at this location, it was this size, and we use X amount of, stuff to make it go bye-bye, and that's what it is. After about page 58, that's pretty much it. Here's all the buildings that we have blown up. So, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's a lot cooler to see it in person and exploding instead of imploding, but it was kind of cool. It's like, it is newer than you would expect. Like, they have been blowing up buildings for a long, long time. But it wasn't here's a safe practice how to do it until I think it was the 1950s when they were like, oops, we went from blowing up stumps in our yard to here's how to take out a building. So that was my physical TBR. And then I read a couple of ebooks. Ben, I'm looking at you because some of these are your fault. I read Dreadful by Caitlin Rozakis, and this one made me giggle because it's about a wizard who doesn't realize that he's a wizard. He thinks he's a victim of a wizard or something because he has no memory. And apparently, he's not very good at being a wizard. He's a very bad guy that has now decided that he doesn't want to be a bad guy, but he's bad at being good, even though he wasn't very good at being bad either. And there's got this whole scheme going of, a couple of us wizards are gonna get together and pull this spell and do this thing, except for none of us actually know what's up. And of course, we're all evil wizards, so there's all this betrayal, and yeah. But the way that they go about it, it's just so much fun. And there's like goblins that I love them. They're so adorable. And the townspeople are like, yeah, we're afraid of you, but not really. We're used to the crap that you pull. Like, the mayor just works with you now. So, yep. He's bad at being good. He's bad at being bad. He's a mess. And it's fun. I read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And yeah, there's already a full review on my channel about that one. So we ain't gonna say too much other than it was freaking good. There were dragons and backstabbing. And if you think your family's a mess, at least you're not Violet having to deal with her mother. Did your mom openly be like, you better die to stop embarrassing me, or I will help you die to stop embarrassing us? So, because, hey, you can feel better about how hated you are by your family compared to that one. I also read Haunted Homecoming by Angie Fox, and yeah, it was cutesy. I mean, I kind of knew it was because I've read some in the series, but it was more cutesy than those ones. Though she does have a pet skunk, and I'm so jealous. I want a little pet skunk. They're so cute. And apparently, this one smells like peaches and gets dressed in little cheerleader outfits because it was a town homecoming. And we have our ghost Frankie, who was having his relationship issues because he thought he was a sneaky little gangster and got him a little ghost girlfriend. Except for, he's not as sneaky as he thinks he is, as is always the case. So, yeah, there were some reveals. It was humorous, but it was also cutesy, and I am not the cutesy kind. I read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, and if you've seen the show on Netflix, you've read the book. Because there was a little bit of like differences, but honestly, I was able to like follow this because I was picturing the show the whole time I was reading it. And the main reason I watched the show is because, oh, Ben Barnes played the bad guy in it, and I had a crush on him when he was Prince Caspian in Narnia back in the day, and he has aged well. I would still happily climb that. So, hey, if you're watching, what do you think? Take me up on my offer? And I also read Gideon the Ninth by Nicole Zoltak. Again, Van, I blame this one for you, or blame you for this one. One of these days I'll learn how to talk. But don't hold your breath on that, because it might take a few more years. Yeah, him and Noah were talking about Fourth Wing, so I had to, and also Kat over at Kat Reads It. Yep, she spells her name correctly too. So yeah, everybody was talking about Fourth Wing, and I gave in and read the popular book, and then I read Gideon the Ninth. That was strictly Ven's fault. And I made the sequel, but my library didn't have that one, so I'm sad. Because our main character was just, I love a very feisty, bring it on, I will fight you underdog. And our main character was very much that. Like, so, alright, human in a world full of freaking skeletons that are just somehow animated, even though they're freaking stupid. And then our one family that's skeletons, but are alive, but not, that actually are sentient. And I hate all of these pricks, and I'm gonna run away, but it never works, and ends up tricked into crap. I guess I have to do this for this trick, even though I hate her. And she hates me, and we're both trying to kill each other, but we can't kill each other because we need each other to stab everyone else in the back to survive. And there was just a lot of freaking sass. And I was loving all the, you just wait, bitch. Bring it home. That was like the whole vibe. And I am freaking here for that. Speaking to my soul with that one. So, yep. I loved it. Those were my books for November. Have you read any of these? Are you going to? Were you going to and now you're going to avoid them? Drop a line, let me know, and I will see you soon. Bye. Happy reading.